Oh no, you ain't gonna go into that Jane thing again.
Yeah, you know, I had to diss her. I told her don't mess with the E-double, man. It's trouble.
Yeah, man, why you gonna be bothered with that skis? That was way back in the
What's up, everybody? This is Brendan, the vinyl archaeologist, representing True School TV on Hip Hop TV, and we're kicking it with none other than the legends of hip hop, EPMD, Parrish Smith, Eric Sermon.
Yes.
How y'all doing today?
Good. Yo, we doing good. Happy to be in Oakland.
We just saw an incredible show, back-to-back hits. Tell me the vibe, explain the vibe of the day in Oakland.
Yo, the vibe of the day in Oakland was it was dope. We got to go around the city. People were celebrating. We got to stop at a couple of restaurants. DJs was playing music outside. Got to grab the mic. But everybody was just so excited about the show at the new Parish. It's like just a whole hip-hop movement out here of people who support each other. And then after that, they go into Slick Rick and the Digital Underground. And everybody's just working together to rebuild this hip-hop culture. That's what I saw out here.
Word. Yeah, the crowd's definitely live. Do you feel that the West Coast connected with you when you first originally started? I mean, it feels like, a lot of the hits that you guys had, like So What You're Saying, and the More Bounce to the Ounce, and stuff that like had that West Coast type of feel. So how do you feel like, in terms of like back then, the West Coast appreciated EPMD?
Yeah, I mean the West Coast is a situation where, like I said, for you, right? We wasn't the classic New York group that sampled New York samples. That was James Brown heavy. We sampled more of Parliament and Funkadelic and again Roger Troutman, Fazo. Not knowing that the West Coast was banging those, just happened what me and P liked. And again, once we made our music, we was in California like every other week, because the music really, EPMD blew everywhere, but LA really they was already banging to the music before we put rhymes on it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
right.
They was already riding around to all the records that we sampled. We just happened to put rhymes to it.
Right.
But the love in LA and San Fran and Oakland from day one, like me and Eric, like forget about it. We'd play at roller skating rings and stuff like that, like just real rugged terrain in Cali.
Nice.
Watches would drop in the crowd, they'd pick it up, hand it back to us.
Okay.
Records would skip, no problem. So, EPMD's always had that love on the West Coast just because of our music, and the way we got down.
Yeah, because crossover, I don't know if the station is here now, but KMEL is really who really blew crossover up.
Right,
like that was the station who gravitated to that song. It was the fourth EPMD album, but that song took off in KMEL first, in San Fran, before it hit any place else.
Okay, and speaking of crossover, you're talking about the hip-hop industry not selling out, all that stuff, and, ironically, it became a hit. Mm-hmm. And, you also had, different artists, from the very beginning, like KRS-One with My Philosophy, talking about the industry not selling out, the Roots, what they do, or Stakes is High, De La Soul. People are always talking about, the industry and not selling out. How do you feel today with different artists, that same philosophy, and, just...
Well, I think it's a lot tougher for them because they didn't have the leadership we had when we came through. Mm-hmm. We would see Run DMC, we'd see Public Enemy, we'd see Will Smith and stuff like that be on the Run's House tour, where these guys basically, there was, to get down with hip hop, you wanted to make a song that KRS-One would like so you can get along. It was like we was more or less concerned about approval from our peers.
Right.
Okay, and being accepted in there.
Right.
Where they never had that type of community from jump. So what do they work off of?
Right.
We had a visual.
Right.
And
can we talk about the generation gap? What do you think is the cause of the generation gap within hip-hop?
Pete just said it.
Yeah, there was no leadership.
There was nothing for them to follow. Like, after a while, the internet came. and I think it was like Soulja Boy. It was
Right.
the one that showed that you can make a record and blow, and all this stuff that we hearing from all these big artists.
Right.
Soulja Boy started that.
Right.
People don't
agree.
look at him
Completely.
as being the front, but he is the front person for what we see right now.
I
He's
agree.
it.
I agree.
Even the style of flow that he rhymes.
That's completely
It's crazy, but
I-
people is Soulja Boys.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it seems like, when you talk about hip hop, I always think of hip hop as a tree, right? Everybody's got their different branches that they're influenced from, and Soulja Boy happens to be that one of those branches. Yeah, right.
Right,
And,
that they had to work off of. Right.
Right, and now it's a genre within itself.
Right. But now within that genre, our music is coming back around just for our genre. Like we stopped music, we stopped touring, we stopped making music, just stopped everything. Where the Rolling Stones is about 140 and they still rocking every day.
Right.
I think again too, like people don't like to hear it, but black folks is just the fact that we are a different type of species because we hate on each other. We're the only genre of music of people that hate on each other. Like you have people who are classics in other genres that people respect, and they don't say old school Rolling Stones or old school Madonna, old school Sting. They don't put no title on that. Only our culture does that. Only our black people do that to our black people. Like you can't have longevity. People asking you all the time. So what you doing now? What are you doing now? Because I'm rich. I don't know about what you think that somebody might be doing, but you can't just look at us and don't get the same respect, like Paris says, to a Rolling Stone or a U2, because people don't look at them like that. They look at them as being who they are. They don't look at them as being old school or whatever. There's no age in that.
Right.
But only our people do that to ourselves. That's the way the part is messed up at. It's just like a thing to it, like everybody can't be on top. Everybody can't win. They don't want to see the next person doing what. We're not the people that stick together like that.
Right. Well, I think part of it has to do with competition, right? I mean, hip hop's always been a competitive
It ain't got to do
sport.
with that. It's just our people just hate. This is what I speak about this for 10 years, and this is not something I'm just making up. It's just statistically we just hate. We just don't like to see the next person winning. When that person wins, then he can't stay there. He or she must go. We must talk about them and get them out of here.
Right.
And that's how we do it, because they're not living like how you are. That's why. And then the internet made it even worse. Like I look at people and they say all the time, I know that Salt and Pepper make $40,000 a night. I don't know who's doing that. This is how we look at things too. You look at certain people not knowing our whole era never stopped working. But in their eyes, they look at it like, what are you doing now? And no other genre has that except us.
I think part of the reason also is just like corporations, and media. What are we able to,
You're still not listening. They ain't gonna do with no media. Media is everywhere. It's about the genre of how they treat their artists, than how they treat us.
I feel you.
They look at their legends how they're supposed to be looked at.
True.
There's no attachment.
Like rock music.
It doesn't matter. Paul McCartney won a Grammy.
They go out
at
there,
17
Rolling
years old.
Stones all day.
They go out there and they do
All
them.
day, no
Right.
problem.
There's no problem. There's
They
no
in stadiums.
attachment.
Right.
There's no hold on the individual.
Right.
So we never, when you come out and you see these shows, and no matter what we doing, these shows always have a good response to people, because the people like us, we still like R&B, we still like rap, we still like it, but nobody's making it no more, because somebody in corporate says that, I don't think Brandy's dope no more. How does Brandy not have a deal? I'm just giving you a couple of names of people though, but something's wrong out there.
Right.
They just took over the whole thing, and we let them take it over, and we sitting here smiling like, it's cool, and our whole culture is being taken over by another whole race of people that wasn't even here to be created.
Right. So I mean, I'm saying like ever since the way back in the early '90s, that's when the corporation just kind of gobbled up all the independents and like ran their own thing. I mean, I remember watching Redman talking about Def Jam, and he was like, "This is what I need now. I need a pass to come into Def Jam." And back in the day, I could just walk through the door as Redman, right? Is that? Did you experience that type of shift?
Well, no, we never got that though. But
Yo, EPMD, this guy. Wow. I love it. It's crazy.
I'm saying.
But again, it's on you, the artist. You know, you have to be true to your art and true to your fans. You know, it's no different. Like, hip-hop is a new culture, but when you look at the artists before us, like, basically, in some opinion, if we drop the ball, what is the purpose of what Chess Records went through? You know, what is the purpose of what James Brown went through and all the people where when you get to hip-hop now, you know, and you have the opportunity to rep your music, you know, you can do business. Just make sure you put out the type of music that you want to put out.
Right.
You know, the difference between back there, Rakim didn't sound like Slick Rick didn't sound like EPMD didn't sound like Red didn't sound like DOS Effects. Now you turn on the radio station, any station, you got 20 artists that are sounding exactly the same.
Yeah. And that's the standard.
So where's the creativity or the room to grow?
Right. Do you think is they set a certain criteria?
no, we just
You just can't be you just can't be scared to make. You got to make your music.
It's hard to create music, and again, that new wave of technology made it accessible for, like, again, Soulja Boy set the thing to show you that you can make a record this way. I don't need to have. There's no soul in the music. That's why they're not selling no records. Don't forget that records popular, but no records are being sold. The only records that are being sold is Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. As far as real hip-hop music is still being bought, they still getting recognized from, it don't matter about the Grammys, the award stuff, but they getting recognized, but what's getting recognized is real music. So why wouldn't you want to do that if this is being recognized in the selling records?
Right.
But they'd rather keep it ignorant. I got 5 children, but I got an 11-year-old and a 19-year-old who it's hard for me to step in front. Like, Paris's kid know every song too. Like Lil J.
Yeah.
And you
dances,
you know,
every little thing.
How you gonna be able to monitor and be able to quantize that stuff in a little small space of what to listen to and what to play?
Right.
It's moving too fast to catch it.
Absolutely.
You know, I can't catch it all, so some stuff they won't be able to understand. But now, 11 years old, I'm like, yo, my son, he probably understands what that means. You know, but who am I to stop it? Because Pat LaBelle and them is saying, yo, that hip-hop stuff was garbage when they was listening to hip-hop.
True.
You know, everybody thought that our stuff was boom back. Don Cornelius told Russell Simmons that in '79 that it wasn't going to last.
True.
So even though we know that it's a difference because, like P said, there's no creativity because it sounds the same, but this is what their error is to them. But at least back then we had a choice. We had dance records and, you know, the Pee Wee Herman and the Biz and the whole. We had dance, so that's their stinky leg, and we're not talking about that part. It's the fact that the constant making of the same record, with the same content, and we still popping bottles. You know, we still in the same content as a Instagram that made these people famous out of nowhere. You know, like, I wonder what girls would be doing without Instagram, or what the world would be doing without Instagram. I know y'all saw the new Denzel Washington post where he says, you know, look up, you keep looking down. Like, is it using you, or is you using it? Like, what is happening to you? You know, as far as the situation.
That's crazy.
It's too much information. You know, we got so much. What are we consuming ourselves with? So we try to put stuff in perspective. But again, music is a second language. And that's why, again, not taking nothing from what they're doing, music it gave you something. Back then when Stevie Wonder and them was writing them songs and James Brown wrote on Black and I'm Proud, that was something that was going on. It had to be written. Nina Simone said you are obligated as an artist to say something with your platform. And that's what we did in the culture. And then people don't care about that now because, again, that little bit of dollars that they're making is got them deterred from what the world is doing. They don't care about they smoking in front of their child now, and doing all the stuff in front of their kids and their children. That stuff is unheard of,
That's
you know.
unheard.
And you can't touch them because if you whip them and they get a rep, you know. I come from switches and extension cords and the whole nine. You know, Agent Peterson put that whip on his child. He was finna go to prison. You know, but we was born up that way.
Right.
But we don't have that discipline or nothing like that to be, you know, we're moving too fast. You know, the culture is moving fast, and this stuff is not a coincidence, man. You put a certain type of ignorance inside in the system, and this is where we're going to be at. So don't be mad at anybody else except you portraying it and putting it in the system to be that way. Every popular song is negative.
And it's
We
showing
had
the
4
kids.
records that talked about cocaine that was hit records. It was all cocaine records with the titles of cocaine.
Right.
It was all hit records.
And there's 10-year-old, 9-year-olds that know every verse.
Right.
They don't know what cocaine is, but they know,
True.
you know, they know every lyric.
I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah, back to you, Jim. Back to you, Jim Iniker.
So the state of hip hop. I mean, we're seeing some changes though, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The internet's opened things up. I mean, we got Anderson .Paak, we got J. Cole, we got Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, it's dope.
You have some people like that are just like.
That's why it's so
torch.
dope to be here in Oakland and be in front of this
Yeah.
massive hip hop crowd.
Right.
Because what Paris was saying, for some reason, there's things coming. Like the Breaks is out there. That new thing on Netflix is out there. I forgot that show in the beginning.
Yeah, the Breaks
And you do got again Anderson .Paak and Jay and Joey Badass and a whole bunch of people coming because everybody, the majority is tired. They only show you their mainstream.
Right.
Me and Paris know what mainstream is,
Right.
and the mainstream is outside in that building. But they won't show you that because they can't control us no more. So they only go get at what they can control. If this was out here in the mainstream, it have no power.
Damn right.
It will be nothing for them to go on because we'll all be what Tupac and them was doing, having smarts, being able to understand what's going on. Right now, you know, they know that. Do they let us in here like this hip hop? Kendrick is something that came through, and everybody's like, okay, well, we let that one in. You know, he's cool. You know, that was it.
Yeah.
You know, fight the power, Kendrick. Go ahead.
Just thank you again, EPMD, Parrish Smith, Eric Sermon. That's a wrap.
Yo, True School.